Hello, it's been a while, and there's been a good reason why it's been a while since I've created a video and uploaded it to YouTube. And that's what this video is going to be about. And the reason I haven't uploaded a video for quite some time is because, well, we haven't been traveling, really. The RV has been in the shop, and when it wasn't in the shop, we were just going back from one campground to another campground, waiting for it to be repaired. And that's what this video is about. Most of you know I have a Forest River. If you've seen the previous videos, I have a Forest River Sunseeker 2400S as in Sierra MBS, which is for Mercedes-Benz. Sorry about the noise. Buster's looking out the window and pushing on the shade. So you're going to hear some background noise with Buster and Chance. Every time I go to create a video, I don't know why, but he starts to eat. And then so you hear chomping sounds in the background. But let's get back to why I'm doing this video. I am telling you, first I need to tell you one very important thing. If you have a Forest River and you're trying to get it repaired and it's under warranty, when I took mine in, Lazy Days, which is the dealership that I took my RV in to get repaired in Tampa, Florida, when I sat down to give them the keys, they said, Forest River sent over this document that they need you to sign. I said, am I the first person to sign it? And he said, yes. I've never seen anyone, this is the first time we've ever received this document and they need you to sign it. The document stated, and I'll upload it, but the document states that Forest River is not responsible for the time that the RV is in being repaired. Do not sign that document. You do not have to sign that document. Your coach is under warranty. They have to repair your coach. You're signing your rights away if you sign that document. Just write refused. Do not sign that document. And I'm going to get into it why in a little bit. I'm also telling you, do not purchase a Forest River. I do not recommend Forest River. They're a horrible company. Yes, they're owned by Berkshire Hathaway, but you're still dealing with Forest River. And I'm going to tell you why. And it's not because of my RV. Yes, there's problems. There's problems. There's lots and lots of problems with my RV. And there's other RVs out there, and yeah, maybe once in a while you get a lemon. And I wouldn't be saying, I'd be telling you to be cautious and to really examine your RV, but I probably wouldn't be telling you not to purchase an RV from Forest River. Why I'm telling you not to is because of the customer service, because of what I have to go through to get this RV fixed. Sorry if the camera's wiggling. Buster and Chance, I don't know, I just took them outside and ran them in a park, so I was hoping they would be calmed down, but they're still jumping all around and eating and what have you, so sorry. Alright, so let's get into it. I'm going to make this video quick. I'm not going to go into full details, but I'm going to just tell you a few things that have been going on, and then I'm going to start releasing videos of all the damage to my RV. I purchased the RV in August of 2016. I had it custom ordered from Orlando RV in Winter Park, Florida. When I got the RV, they tried to play this interest base point game on me. When I signed up for the custom RV and put down my $1,000 deposit, they gave me a great interest rate. However, I got a call in early October, late August, saying that the RV is on time. I was supposed to get it within 4 weeks and it would be delivered. Later that day I get a call from my sales rep saying that it's been delayed by a couple weeks because the engine light would not come off, or would stay on, and they had to send it back to Mercedes-Benz. So I didn't get the RV until October 30th. So they had to re-approve me, they said, for financing, and my interest rate, because I purchased some stuff for the RV during that time, like the septic tank, hoses, and some kitchenware and what have you, my credit score went down by a few points, and that raised my interest rate up by a couple points. Not just a couple like decimal points, but I think it was from 4.5% all the way up to 6%. I said, no way, keep it. I'm not doing it. Forget it. This is a game you're playing. Comes to find out, it was a game that they were playing. Anything above the interest rate that the bank approved for, they could add additional base points on, and they got to keep the money. The dealership, Orlando RV, got to keep that extra base points, or the interest that I would be paying on it. And that's what they did. Well, once they figured out I wasn't going to accept the RV no matter what, they got my interest rate back down to almost back to what they said it was going to be. So during that time, they asked me if I would come out and look at the RV, which I did. It was in their, it wasn't at the dealership, it was in their lot because it still needed to be cleaned. When I went out there, the propane tank was empty, it hadn't been filled yet, and it was low on gas, but my rep Steve had the AC blasting, the vehicle AC, not the RV AC, the vehicle AC, because it was, of course, it was October, and October is one of the hottest months in Orlando. So I got to see it, and yeah, it was dirty and everything, and he promised me that when I took possession of it, the gas tank would be full, and the propane, they would fill the propane tank. Awesome. Just like if you purchased a custom car. So the day comes that I go to take possession of the RV. Dang it, I know better. I feel so dumb, but they got me. The dealership in Winter Park is very, very small. And they had two RVs, one RV parked on one side of my RV and another on the other because of the space that was limited. And we did the walkthrough. One of the things the guy that did my walkthrough said was, and I had never owned an RV before, and so I was going by what he was telling me. He said, here's the button for the slide out. Sorry, Chance's down here panting. Here's the button for the slide out. It's pretty easy. It says, it's just a back and forth. You push it to push it out, you push it to push it, bring it back in, you push it again. That's it. No brainer. I was like, okay, awesome. We couldn't put it out because there was an RV on the other side of us tied up against us, so I couldn't try the slide out, but I had never owned an RV. I figured, okay, it's a no-brainer. Never even thought about trying it. And dang it, I knew better too. I should have done, I needed to test all of that. So if you're going to purchase an RV, no matter if it is a Forest River or not, try and check everything. Don't let them try to skimp you. Don't be in a rush. When you go, plan on being there for 4, 5, 6 hours. I was there for an hour and a half. So one of the things I found out was the slide out, as soon as I got home, was tearing up the floor. Not just tearing up the panel, the panels on the floor, the vinyl flooring. It was actually gouging out the wood out of the floor. It was so misaligned, which was also then later on allowing mice and rats into my RV. So off I go a month later on my first trip out to California. We get out to California and we start heading up to the mountains to do some sledding with my nephew and niece. And by that time, about a month, maybe 6 weeks later after we left for California, the propane tank needed to be refilled. We had used all the propane. It was less than a quarter of a tank. So coming down from Mount Baldy from sledding with my niece and nephew, I pull into a Shell station to have the propane tank refilled. Guy comes out, couldn't refill it, couldn't get the hose to attach to it. I figured, well, it's just a small little Shell station up in the mountains. It's probably, I had never refilled an RV tank, propane tank before, so I figured, well, I probably needed to take it to one that specializes in RVs. Maybe all they do is those little small barbecue tanks. So I get down the mountain and I pull into one where I see an RV actually getting propane. And so I pull in, and they spent 5 minutes trying with a couple different adapters and could not get it connected. I go the next day to a feed store that's down from my brother's house, and they did the same thing. The guy tried and tried for about 5 minutes. He went in and got the owner. The owner comes out, tries it, and he looks at me and says, listen, I own a Forest River. They have a lot of problems, and they mounted your propane tank way too high. You're not gonna. There's no matter who you take it to, they're not going to be able to fill it. You're going to have to take it to a repair shop and have them lower the propane tank. I called Forest River, and they said, yes, we apologize. We've sent out a lot of the Sunseekers, my model, with the propane tank mounted too high. Okay, one thing. No big, it's an inconvenience, but hey, things happen. So I call around. I can't get into any place. The Orlando RV with the slide out, misaligning my floor, ripping up the floor, and a few other problems. I took possession of it October 30th. The first time they could get me in was February 17th, 2017. almost 4 months from the day that I took position, the same day I called that evening to tell them what I found. So that's another thing. Don't go to Orlando RV. Stay away from Orlando RV. And the thing is, I was getting my hair cut one day, and I was talking about it in the salon to the lady that was cutting my hair, and there was a lady sitting next to me getting a perm, I think, I don't know. And she warned me. She said, listen, we purchased an RV from Orlando RV. Don't go there. I was warned, and I still went there. They're the only ones that had that sold my model, the floor plan that I wanted. So stay away from Orlando RV in Winter Park, Florida. So as time went on, so for that week I couldn't get propane. I had to call, and I finally found I had to do the call in and find a place. Every place Forest River gave me recommendations to, I was a few months out. Finally I found a place thanks to the owner of that feedlot who knew of an RV repair shop, and he called in and got me a favor, and got me in within, I think, a week and a half. So during that week and a half, no hot showers, except for one day. So my brother, I can't really park my RV there because his driveway is on a slope, and if anyone that has an RV knows that you can't park your RV on a slope for very long or your refrigerator stops working. But I had to take a shower. And I tried one cold shower in January, and that wasn't going to work. So I plugged into his electricity. No hot water. The manufacturer of the hot water heater, the control board was dead. So that had to be replaced as well. So no propane. Control board of the hot water heater dead. So there was no way to get hot water. Have you caught on to what I'm saying just yet? Because it took me a second, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me during this process. How did I have propane from the very beginning? When I went out there to see the RV for the very first time, the propane tank was empty. He showed it to me. He checked it. That's why we were running Steve was running the AC from the cockpit, from the vehicle, because we didn't have propane to run the generator. Orlando RV filled up my propane tank and sent me on my way. They knew of the problem. So, give you a rundown. I'm not going to go into great detail because I'm going to start uploading videos of all the problems I've had. But just to tell you some of the stuff, I've had my utensil drawer completely collapse. All the utensils fell into the RV. Some of them are still in there I can't get to. Mice and rats, and I'm going to upload some videos so you don't think it's a fish story that this rat was this big. I've had rats about probably this big, this round, inside my RV from holes inside of the misaligned slide out and a couple place over by the bay door and up front. And I'll upload some videos of that as well. Which means I have mice poop everywhere too, which I'm out in California with the hantavirus, and just a couple years ago it killed a lot of people in Yosemite, which kind of is scary. Let's see, outdoor speakers. The indoor speakers work. One of the outdoor speakers never worked, so I never really got to enjoy the sound outside. Driving back to Orlando to get the RV fixed, this window behind me is about to blow out. Driving back, by the time we got into Louisiana, I thought we were going to lose the window altogether. I find screws everywhere. Yesterday? It was either yesterday or the day before. The screen door almost just fell off because all the screws fell out of the screen door. You can't see it, but back in my bed, back by the bed, above it is cabinets, and in the cabinets there's another shelf, so you have two layers of cabinets, or two shelves. The upper shelf is collapsing, so I can't really put anything on the top shelf, and the only thing I've ever had on it is I had some crayons, a couple board games, and a couple legal tablets and a box of envelopes. And it's collapsing. It's just crumbling. Pantry pullout does not work. Worked for a couple days, and I can't get it to lock. And when I do get it locked, or when I do pull it out, I can't get it back in. It takes a lot of manipulation to get the pantry to be put back in. So I don't even use the pantry anymore. The sink cover that covers the sink when I need to chop up vegetables or what have you was disintegrating. The laminate that was over the top, or that was covering the bottom of it, had disintegrated, and all the sawdust was just crumbling because of the moisture in the sink. This is odd. The bathroom sink. Jasper, my cat, if you've seen any of my videos, I don't have her declawed, but I buy these little plastic tips on Amazon that comes with this super glue that's pet safe that glues these plastic tips on her nails so she can't hurt the dogs or the leather on the seats. Sometimes I get it on my fingers and glue my fingers. It glues really quickly, so I glue my fingers together. All you do is put a couple drops of acetone fingernail remover on your fingers and it comes right off. I do it over the sink. I put a couple drops on my finger and it just melted the sink. And I thought, well, maybe there's something on the sink. So I tried just a couple drops everywhere with an eyedropper, and this is Target brand fingernail remover. It just melts the sink. I don't know what women would do if they needed to remove their finger or their nail polish. Knock on wood. Oh, Buster, sorry. The bathroom I've never had a problem with the bathroom. The toilet seat is broken. Always has been broken, came broken. And it's still broken. But luckily no problems with the bathroom other than the bath. And I was told that I was supposed to be getting a porcelain toilet, and instead it's just a plastic toilet. I have a fantastic fan that sucks air out, which makes, then you open up, you can't see it in the video, but there's an opening, another screen that lets air in, so you get this circulation. Well, it's not tight, so I keep getting bugs in my RV because of that. My microwave, I had to have my microwave replaced because about 40% of the time I would say, it would blow my food up. All of a sudden it would start squealing, high, loud noise. I mean, it sounded like the microwave was going to blow up, and then all of a sudden the food would blow up. It'd splatter everywhere. My TV, I have two TVs, and knock on wood, sorry, they heard something. I knew they were going to hit the camera. I have a TV back in my bed, and that TV is a Furrion, no trouble at all. I had another TV up front, and within the first day of leaving for our California trip, heading out to California, all of a sudden I just got the white screen of death. That's all. And it's a DC TV. So the back one is a DC TV. The front TV is also a DC TV. That was one of the things I spoke to Steve about at Orlando RV before I purchased it. I told them I was going to be doing a lot of dry camping, and so I needed DC so I could watch it off the battery or the generator. So I could charge up watch it for a couple hours, charge up the battery with the generator, and keep on watching the TV. So I wouldn't have to waste so much of the propane fuel on the generator. Part of the microwave blowing my food up, I'm starting to think I have an electrical problem because the USB sockets, this one doesn't work. There's one in the back that doesn't work. The bathroom sink has a 120 volt electrical socket with one of those, I forget what it's called, those fuses, safety fuses, the GDMA or GD, I forget the initials of it. But I can't, it just pops every time I turn on, if I hook it up to shore power, if I turn on the generator, and then I go to reset it, it just keeps popping. I can't keep the fuse in. Which also means I can't use the electrical sockets up by the kitchen because they're tied to that electrical socket that has the fuse. So I only have one good electrical socket that I can use. I have a 125 volt inverter to charge my battery off of. It won't charge. It keeps giving me a fault. I thought, well, maybe it's my inverter. So I purchased a 250 watt inverter off of Amazon. Squealed, gave me a fault. Did 350 watt, squealed, gave me a fault. And that was with and without, tried it with and without the generator running. So the only way I can charge my laptop is when I turn the generator on and use that one only 110 volt socket. Okay, let's see here. AC and heater. I get partial heating because some of the vents don't push out any heat. There's no heat coming out of the vents. I've had a lot of styrofoam coming out of the vents, so I'm thinking that there's some styrofoam blocking some of the vents, especially the bathroom vent. There's no heat coming out of that one. Same with the AC vents up on the roof. I had styrofoam blowing all the time out, and now only two of the out of the 1, 2, I don't know, 6 or 7 or 8 vents, only 2 of them blow out cold air, and now it doesn't even blow out cold air. It's just a very warm, I would say probably about 75, 74, 72 degree air. It's not cold air anymore, so the AC is not working at all, or really not working. This was a Mercedes problem. My left blinker didn't work, but I brought it into Mercedes on a Friday. They FedExed the part on a Saturday, received it Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and fixed it. So Mercedes-Benz, awesome. Yeah, you know, you're gonna have a problem or two, but they have the customer. They were awesome. They knew I was leaving the next day for a trip. They FedExed the problem. I'm so sorry. Chance keeps hitting the camera with his tail. And they fixed it. So I would never say anything bad about Mercedes, because yeah, I had a couple problems, but they took care of it. They fixed it right away. And I'm going to go more into Forest River's customer service in a second. The awning, I have an awning, a tarp that goes out, electric one. All the stitching is coming out of it, so I can't use that. I have another awning that covers the slide out. I was driving, all the screws and clips fell out of it, and the whole awning was just flapping, and I had no choice but to take a razor blade and cut the tarp out. So I don't have an awning on that one. Finding screws everywhere. Let's see. The up front in the engine is that controls the AC for the vehicle. When I went to turn it on for the very first time, the whole thing fell into the dashboard. So I had to take it to Mercedes-Benz. Well, I call it Mercedes-Benz. Chance is eating his bone. I'm so sorry. Chance, stop. Go on the bed. Can you go on the bed with that? I am so sorry about the noise. He's chewing on his bone. So I called Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz said, yes, bring it in, but here's the thing. It could be a Mercedes-Benz problem, and if it is, we'll fix it. It's under warranty, no charge. However, it could be a Forest River problem. If it is, and they diagnose it as a Forest River problem, I have to pay them $350 for the diagnosis that it was Forest River. And Forest River doesn't reimburse for that. So I took it in, and it was a Forest River problem. However, Mercedes-Benz, the gentleman that was helping me, did not charge me the $350, which was awesome. And thank you, Mercedes-Benz of Sanford, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando. Comes to find out, Forest River installed the entertainment system of my RV, but they were to mount it, put the screws in, and they left the screws out, so nothing was holding the air conditioning in. So Mercedes-Benz put a screw in just so I could get out to California, but I had to have it fixed. I couldn't, he said, just barely touch it, because if you put too much pressure on, it is going to fall back into the dashboard, and then you won't be able to use the air conditioning. So I really didn't, I barely used the air conditioning, and it was in the winter time, so I just kind of rolled down the window when it needed to be cooled off, but we didn't use the air conditioning that much. Alright, so those were all the problems that went on since I left in December of 2016. Sorry, I saw something, a squirrel or something. Sorry about that, they saw a cat. Alright, so that takes us from December of 2016 up to almost May. Or no, I'm sorry, April. Then I started working with, what was his name? Russell Stahl, which is the Western States Warranty Supervisor for Sunseeker at Forest River. I told him the problem. He kept trying to get me to go to these different dealerships that was 6 months out. And I told him that's not acceptable. I have to have we've got to get this fixed. And finally, I said, you get me an appointment somewhere and fix it. And he agreed. He said, I'm going to get you an appointment. And it took about 2 months, but finally after stalling, not hearing from him, arguing with him. Finally, he got me an appointment in a suburb of Los Angeles. We went down there in May, and the gentleman at the dealership did a complete walkthrough. I showed him all the problems. He couldn't believe this was a brand new RV. I have all the people that I meet at campsites who have like 15, 20-year-old RVs. I even have a friend that has a Winnebago that's 22 years old and has had nowhere close to the problems that I've had, especially in a brand new one. And so he said he's going to order the parts. It's going to take about a month and to get the parts in, and then we'll get you fixed up. So while we were waiting for the parts to come in, we went up to Idlewild, the Thousand Trails campground up there, to wait. And on May 25th, about probably 2 or 3 weeks after visiting that dealership and waiting for the parts to come in, I woke up in the middle of the night to a flood. A water pipe in the wall had broken and was flooding the RV. I called Forest River. I said I didn't want to speak with Russell Stoll. I want to speak to his supervisor. So I spoke to the head warranty manager over Russell, Dan DeBecke. I told him the problem. He said his exact words, and I quote, "So I have a huge water leak. What are you going to do about it? What do you want me to do? I need help here." He said, "There's nothing I can do about it. Take it to a dealership and have it fixed." That's when I said, "That's it. I've had enough. I'm filing a lawsuit against you." And I hung up the phone and I called my attorney, and he said to come back to Orlando and we'll prepare a lawsuit. So during that time, I still had to get the RV fixed. So I called, which I think is the largest RV, one of the largest, if it's not the largest RV dealerships in America, Lazy Days, which has locations in Tampa, Florida, Tempe, Florida, I think, or Tempe, Arizona, and Denver, Colorado. They're huge. And I thought, at least I'm taking it to a reputable place, because the thing is, so Forest River, with the water leak being out in California, one of the things that I spoke to Dan DeBecke about was, I said, listen, I called the dealership that Russell Stoll told me was going to fix it. He said now with the water leak and with the mold and mildew growing in the RV, they're going to have to take the RV for a month. I have 2 dogs and a cat. So you need to get me some kind of lodging to stay at, and it's your responsibility to pay for it. He said, okay, I'll agree to pay for the lodging, but you have to sign a release form that says that you release us from all other damages. I'm not going to sign that. I have so many out-of-pocket expenses up to this. He said, well, your lodging for those 30 days is going to be quite expensive, so you have to sign that, or I'm not going to pay for your lodging. He was trying to twist my hand, and I said, no, I'm not signing your release form. So when I called my attorney, he said, please tell me you did not sign that release form. And I said, no, I didn't. He said, then you need to get back to Orlando now. So we went back to Orlando. So those 5 days we had no water. Driving back to Orlando, got caught in a tornadic storm in Texas. I forgot it was the end of May, tornado season, Texas. That's a story on itself, and I'll upload a video of us going through the tornado storm. So I take it to Lazy Days. Lazy Days gave me the same time frame as the California place. It was going to take about a month. I dropped off the RV on June 19th, 2017. July came around. My birthday is July 20th. RV not even close to being done. August came around. I said, I need the RV. Hurricane Irma is coming. I need this RV so we can get out of here before the hurricane hits. Nowhere close to being done. Half the parts hadn't even been ordered yet. Finally, I called Lazy Days, and I said, sorry, the camera stopped there for a second. I had to reset it. So I called Lazy Days and informed them, enough's enough. I am leaving for a trip. I have to leave Orlando and get back out. I'm not missing another Thanksgiving without my family. I missed last year's Thanksgiving. They told me that the RV was completely done except for the awning. They forgot to order the awning. I said, well, I'll be back again next year. Just keep the awning once it comes in. It's not a big deal. I hadn't been able to use the awning all year, so it's not like I'm used to using the awning. So just keep it. when I come back next year, just install it. And they agreed. They said, okay, that's fine. That way I could go on my trip and get out to California and be with my family for Thanksgiving. I go to pick up the RV. I walk in, I ask for my keys. I said, I'm David Swanson. Can I speak to Darnell? Darnell Green, who's my rep at Lazy Days. Oh, he's busy at the moment. You don't, but we have the RV right up front. Here's the keys. You're good to go. I'm just making sure the camera's still recording. I thought that was weird. I was like, I would think my sales or my rep would want to come out and talk to me or give me a walk around and show me what's been replaced, but he never showed up. So I got the keys, I walked out, looked for my RV, put the key in the door, unlocked it, and I took a step in. I paused for a second, and I stepped right back out. I thought I got into the wrong RV. I started looking around for another RV that looked like mine. No other RVs, no other Class C RVs. So then I went back and looked at my license plate to make sure this is my RV. Sure enough, there's my license plate, because my license plate is like DUG or something. All I know is it reminds me of dog. And so I was like, that's my RV. I thought it was a practical joke. I didn't know what was going on. The entire RV was infested with spiders. It looked like a scene from Arachnophobia. I walked in. First thing I did was, I don't know why, but I opened up the oven. I guess, I was opening up the cabinets, looking to see how many spiders were in the cabinets and where have you. And then I opened up the oven, and the oven, it looked like a sandstorm took place inside my oven. I'm not talking just dirt. I'm talking about sand, and probably like a 1/4 millimeter worth of sand covering the entire oven. How sand got into my oven, I have no idea. Opened up the bathroom door. That was freaky. I mean, there were spider webs everywhere. Went back out, and as soon as I started walking up the counter, I guess the lady could tell by my face. She's like, I'll get the supervisor. It was kind of like they knew. The other thing was, when I opened up the door, it looked like someone took a bottle of Coke, shook it, and sprayed it all over the door, my door. It looked like Coke. I don't know if it was Coke, but it looked like a Coke can had exploded on my door. So the supervisor comes out, apologizes for the condition my RV is in. So I start checking some of the stuff that they were supposed to fix. Didn't fix over half the stuff. Then the supervisor, I forget his name, I have it, but he comes out and he's like, well, get that technician who worked on this RV, get him to come out here. So they get the technician to come out, and I'm like, well, one of the first things is the speakers, the outdoor speaker you never fixed. And he said, oh, I was reading the thing, I thought it was your door speakers and they work just fine, so I never thought anything more of it. And I said, no, the outdoor speakers, and it specifically states, and he's like, so I said I specifically stated it was the outdoor. So the supervisor went and got the work order, and he said, yeah, it specifically says the outdoor left speaker. So he starts fiddling around with it, and I said, listen, it's not going to work. There's something wrong with the cable. I put a multimeter on it. Oh, you can't put a multimeter on it. Multimeters don't work on speaker wiring. I'm like, oh my God, who do I have working on my RV? I have the highest FCC amateur radio license. My call sign's K0BCJ. Of course you can use a multimeter on it. That's how you diagnose it. We kind of got into an argument. Finally, I just stopped arguing. It was pointless to argue with this technician, and the supervisor was sitting there listening to us. I said, well, I'm not taking this RV. There's no way I'm letting my dogs in the spider-infested RV. So, left the RV. They were to clean it up. 2 days later, I call them. Nothing has been done yet. I said, okay, I'm adding you to the lawsuit. I spoke to my attorney. I'm going to sue you. He hung the phone up on me. I called back. He said, if you're going to be calm, then we'll speak with you. I wasn't even yelling at him at that time. And I said, listen, I've got you on speakerphone. I'm recording this conversation. You are no longer to touch that RV. I'm coming to get it within the hour. You do not touch it. You said it hasn't been cleaned. Do not clean it. And I brought it back so my attorney could see it. So once I got it back, found out not only was it infested with spiders, it was infested with ants. The microwave was covered in sand, have no idea how that happened. They never fixed the utensil drawer. The speakers, of course, with the guy going up there, he broke the wires, so none of my speakers, outdoor speakers, work now. Here's a great one. And I would never have even probably noticed it, except I had to fumigate the whole RV, so then, because I didn't want the dogs, I didn't know if it was going to leave some kind of residue down, so I was wiping everything down. I first found out that the TV, they replaced my TV with a different brand, and it wouldn't work. I kept trying to turn it on, it wouldn't work. And then I found out they replaced it with an AC TV, not a DC TV, which does me no good. But that wasn't the big kicker. I happened to get up behind it where the panel is, and I go to wipe it down, and there's a sticker on it. Refurbished from Best Buy. It was they went and got a refurbished Best Buy TV and replaced it with a refurbished Best Buy TV. Not from Forest River. Lazy Days just went down to Best Buy and got a refurbished one, and probably charged Forest River for the brand new one, and gave me the refurbished one, thinking that I would never even look behind it to see it and see the sticker on it. Let's see, the toilet seat. When I opened up the bathroom door, all the parts to the toilet seat were still on the floor, broken. Toilet seat never fixed. I asked them that mice had gotten underneath my seats and that there's mice nests underneath my seats, to please clean out the mice nests and then check the wires, because there's wires underneath my seat because they're powered seats. They said yes. Lazy Days specifically stated that they cleaned out the mice. And I videotaped with my attorney on my phone, and I said, "Does this look?" And and you're going to see it in the videos that I upload. There's the mice nests. They never did anything. The original mice nests are still there. The slide out, I emailed him, and I put it in specific email in writing that I did not, because the dealership out in California, the first dealership that did the propane, I had them look at the slide out, and then the dealership that Forest River took me to, both of them said that my entire floor had to be replaced. It could not just be, they couldn't just cut out one of the panels on each side where it's tearing into the floor and replace it, because in about 2 years it's going to start sliding and look horrible, so that they had to have the whole floor replaced. Out in California, they ordered the entire new floor, to replace it. So I sent Lazy Days an email and stated that I need the entire floor replaced. They said, well, maybe Forest River wouldn't replace it. I said, even if Forest River denies it, they've already approved it before, but if they do deny it, you replace the entire floor, I will pay out of pocket. All written in an email, and they agreed. They just cut out, per their work order, they just cut out both panels and did a glue job. They didn't replace the entire floor. They never fixed the slide out. The slide out was still tearing up the brand new floor that they replaced, so why even replace the floor if they're not going to fix the slide out? I have mice and rats continuing to get in. I get about, I'm in the city right now, but we were out in Lucerne Valley in the desert every night between 2 to 6 different mice and rats. And I'll show you videos of that. Kitchen sink never fixed, utensil drawer never fixed. The wet bay door that I couldn't get open, they were supposed to fix it, never fixed it. And in fact, now another bay door that they were supposed to fix and put sealant around, I can't even use it. And it was never even broken, but now the first thing I did, I opened up the bay door, couldn't even get the bay door open. It's broken. So I don't know what they did to the bay door outside. Here's a great one. So I go to check the window, and I go outside and I just put on the window that's about to blow out. I put my finger in it just to see if it's loose. It comes right back out. They called the technician out. The technician said, "Oh, I tightened it, but really we need to replace it, so we're going to have to order a new window." And I said, "No, you can't. I'm supposed to be leaving. I can't wait for another 30 days because Forest River takes 4 to 6 weeks to send any parts by truck. I can't wait for a new window." He said, "Well, let me do this. I'll tape it down for you, and it should be fine for you to go on your trip." I said, "I'm driving out to California. You're going to tape my window down?" He comes out with yellow duct tape and taped my window. You're going to see this in a video and in pictures. He taped my window out, taped my window in. Then the supervisor comes back out and pulls the tape off when I go to pick it up the second time and said, oh, we replaced your window. We completely replaced your window, so you're fine. Well, one, the technician said he never replaced the window. Window's still completely loose. And here's the thing. He yelled at me because he said that he did replace it. I went and looked and took video and pictures. He never replaced it. My dog's hair is still on, my own dog's hair is still in the window seal. If he had replaced the window, why is my dog's hair in the window seal? Pantry, they were supposed to replace the pantry. Never replaced the pantry, so the pantry still doesn't work. The list goes on and on. So I'm not going to sit here and just continue to go by line item by line item. So what I'm telling you is this. Stay away from Forest River because of the customer service. I do not recommend them. I can't recommend any because I haven't purchased, but I did tour and speak to the CEO of Ultra Highland that does the trailers, and I wished I would have gotten one of those. I can't tell you, maybe they're having the same problems, I don't know. But talking to owners and doing a tour of their factory, they seem to be a good manufacturer. But stay away from Forest River. Yes, it's backed up by Berkshire Hathaway, but why even have to go through a lawsuit if you don't have to? I'll post the lawsuit, my lawsuit complaint, and my attorney's information. So if you are having a Forest River problem, he is an awesome attorney. He practices in Florida, so you might have to be in Florida. I don't know. I don't know all the legal background on that stuff, where if you can be in a different state or not. But he's an awesome attorney. I'll put a copy of the complaint so you can see the complaint, the lawsuit. And by all means, if you have questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be more than happy. And most of all, don't sign that document. When you go into, if you have a Forest River and you go to repair it and they say that you have to sign this document that says that they're not responsible for the time that the Forest River RV is in with the dealership, do not sign that. Refuse. You don't have to sign that. It's under warranty, and that means that they have to repair your RV, and they will be. I'm suing them for that time, so that I refuse to sign that document because I'm paying a loan payment on an RV that I can't even use, and it was at the dealership for 5 months. So I'm suing Forest River, Berkshire Hathaway, Lazy Days dealership, and Orlando RV. But that is why I have not created any videos, because I haven't done any traveling. I've had to miss out on a lot of trips. I had to miss my 20th year high school reunion. Pretty much all we did was go from Sawtooth Canyon for 14 days, because that's the maximum you could stay at Sawtooth Canyon, up to Idlewild for 14 days, because that's the maximum of 1,000 trails, and back and forth, waiting for Forest River to get me into a dealership to fix my RV, until the water pipe broke, and they refused, and then tried to get me to sign a document to release them of all damages and expenses. So I had no choice but to return to Orlando, and I had no reason to return to Orlando other than I had to get back there to file a lawsuit. So I've created another website called pleasehelp.davidswanson.me. I'll put a link in the comment. It's got my entire story. So if you do want to read my entire story and you do want to help out, it's there. It's got pictures, video, documents, everything like that. So I will put a link of that in the description. So if you made it all the way through this video, thank you. Thanks for watching. And if you have questions, I will be more than happy to answer what I can. Bye.